When I was a younger man, was cave exploring quite regularly. Myself and a fellow from Lexington, Kentucky, and his girlfriend, we all hopped in his Suburban vehicle and drove about 90 miles south from Lexington to the vicinity of Mount Vernon in Rockcastle County. We were going to go to a cave and look at signatures made by Civil War soldiers in the rock of the cave. But when we got there, it was too crowded. There was no place to park. That was off the highway, and we decided to bail on that one and just go ahead and go up the road a little ways and go in a cave up there called Soldier's Cave. Well, we did that. We drove up there. We found a place to park, no problem. We secured our personal items in the car and locked it up and went caving for about 2 hours. We didn't have much more time than that, so we came out, headed out, and when we got to the entrance, we had a bank around the entrance, sort of almost like a mouth bar in front of a river. But it was high enough that it completely concealed us except for the tops of our helmets. So I went out first, and I saw a person stirring around our vehicle. I couldn't tell what they were doing exactly, but they were moving the branches aside and apparently climbing into the back of it. I said, well, that's not good because we know the back end's locked, so he must have broken the glass out. Well, I told Ron, I said, Ron, I think there's somebody breaking into your car. Just don't let them see him. Maybe we can catch up to him and catch him. Well, Ron popped his head above the bank and said, hello! Immediately alerting the person in the vehicle that he had been revealed. He'd been exposed. So we huddled down the hill, and this perpetrator hopped on, had a horse tied to the car. So he untied the horse and got on it and took off down the road back towards the highway. So we got down to where we were parked, and we picked up our personal items that he had dumped on the ground and noted that he had taken several items, including a diamond ring. And so that was a pretty stiff blow there. But we decided to follow the road and see if we could catch him on his way back to the highway, assuming that's what he was doing. And we traveled along a little ways and didn't see him. And we decided to go back to the parking area where we parked and see if there were any of our other possessions had been left laying on the ground, or if maybe we knew something was gone. I was short a Swiss Army knife, so this fella had my Swiss Army knife, among other things. So we went back to the car. We picked up all our stuff. We get back in the car. We start following it out the road towards the U.S. highway. Then things changed dramatically. We were clopping along, listening to the horse clop along ahead of us somewhere, but we still couldn't find them. And they were apparently much further up ahead of us than we thought, because when we got to the highway, we could see where the shoulder of the tributary road, or the feeder road, junctioned with the U.S. highway, and the hoof prints were very plain and easy to see. So we just turned our car to the right and followed the shoulder of the road with our blinkers on, of course, because we were moving a lot slower than the U.S. traffic. And suddenly we kept finding bits and pieces of the trail as we traveled along the road. And finally we came to a point where the trail just totally disappeared. Well, I said, well, maybe we go up and down over here on this side road and see if we can find anybody who's seen this person. And we started to cut across the traffic and go over there, and I saw Ron was driving, and his girlfriend Jay McNally was sitting in the back trying to console herself that she's going to get her mother's wedding ring back. So anyway, we followed it. We started to make the turn, and I saw this person. I saw a man on a horse across the valley. We could see all the way across the valley before we could, a lot easier than we could just trying to scrape together enough data and bits and pieces of information and put together a trail. We had the culprit right in our sights, so to speak. So we go up to the house. So no, we didn't. We decided to go to the sheriff. So we went into town and got the sheriff, and he came out and met us out there at the junction. And he went to the door, and the only person who was home was one adult woman and her daughter. And they said no, her son hadn't been out today, she didn't think he'd been out anyway. So we decided we'd have to turn it in to the sheriff for sure. So we started filling out so the sheriff started interviewing the family about who went where and what. And the boy came in, and he said, "What's all this police? What's the sheriff's car about?" Everything. And they told him that we thought he was the person who broke out Ron's car window and took all the jewelry from Jay McNally's purse. So he said he denied it, and he hadn't done anything wrong, and that was all a bunch of baloney. And so anyway, while he's going through this routine of denying stuff, the sheriff's questioning him. I saw the daughter take her hand and reach inside of his coveralls pocket, and she brought her hand out. It was full of that granulated glass, safety glass that goes in cars. So he had his pockets full of safety glass. So the sheriff said, "Well, you all just wait outside now. We're going to take care of this." So the sheriff came out a little bit later and said, "Well, the father's willing to pay you for the broken window and forgive you on all these other issues that the boy did." And that was the way the story ended. We figured that youngsters won't be sitting down on a horseback for quite a while. The end.
Did you get the ring?
Yeah, I've got everything back, including my Swiss Army knife.
Oh, all right. Hey.
You can post that on there later. That's a neat story. I like that story.
Yeah.
Comes out at a happy ending, so to speak.
Yeah.